Some of Prince's closest confidants had grown increasingly alarmed about his health in the days before he died and tried to get him help as they realized he had an opioid addiction, yet none were able to give investigators the insight they needed to determine where the musician got the fentanyl that killed him, according to investigative documents released yesterday. Just ahead of this weekend's 2-year anniversary of Prince's death, prosecutors announced they would file no criminal charges in the case, and the state investigation was closed. "My focus was lasered in on trying to find out who provided that fentanyl, and we just don't know where he got it," Carver County Attorney Mark Metz said. "We may never know. It's pretty clear from the evidence that he did not know, and the people around him didn't know, that he was taking fentanyl." Mr. Metz said Prince had suffered from pain for years and likely believed he was taking a common painkiller. Prince was 57 when he was found alone and unresponsive in an elevator at his Paisley Park studio compound on April 21, 2016. His death sparked a national outpouring of grief and prompted a joint investigation by Carver County and federal authorities. Carver County Attorney Mark Metz, Center, announces at a press conference that no criminal charges will be filed relating to the death of Prince. An autopsy found he died of an accidental overdose of fentanyl, a synthetic opioid 50 times more powerful than heroin. The investigative materials, including documents, photos and videos, were posted online yesterday afternoon. Several images show the music superstar's body on the floor of his Paisley Park estate, near an elevator. He is on his back, his head on the floor, eyes closed. His right hand is on his stomach and left arm on the floor. The documents include interviews with Prince's inner circle. That included longtime friend and bodyguard Kirk Johnson, who told investigators that he had noticed Prince looking just a little frail, but said he did not realize he had an opioid addiction until he passed out on a plane a week before he died. "It started to all making sense though, just his behavior sometimes and change of mood, and I'm like, oh, I think this is what's going on. That's why I took the initiative and said, let's go to my doctor, because you haven't been to the doctor. Let's check it all out," Mr. Johnson said, according to a transcript of an interview with investigators. Mr. Johnson said after that episode, Prince canceled some concerts as friends urged him to rest. Mr. Johnson also said that Prince said he wanted to talk to somebody about his addiction. Fans of U.S. musician Prince still leave notes and flowers on a fence outside of Paisley Park, Prince's home and where he was found dead after an overdose 2 years ago, Chanhassen, Minnesota. Mr. Johnson asked his own doctor, Michael Todd Schulenberg, to see Prince on April 7, 2016. Dr. Schulenberg told authorities he gave Prince an IV. Authorities said he also prescribed vitamin D and a nausea medication, under Mr. Johnson's name. Mr. Johnson then called Dr. Schulenberg on April 14, asking the doctor to prescribe a pain medication for Prince's hip. Dr. Schulenberg did so, again under Mr. Johnson's name, Mr. Metz said. On the night of April 14 to April 15, Prince passed out on a flight home from Atlanta, and the private plane made an emergency stop in Moline, Illinois. The musician had to be revived with 2 doses of a drug that reverses effects of an opioid overdose. A paramedic told a police detective that after the second shot of naloxone, Prince took a large gasp and woke up, according to the investigative documents. He said Prince told paramedics, "I feel all fuzzy." A nurse at the hospital where Prince was taken for monitoring told detectives that he refused routine overdose testing that would have included blood and urine tests. When asked what he had taken, he didn't say what it was, but that someone gave it to him to relax. Other documents say Prince said he took 1 or 2 pills. Prince presents the award for favorite album, Soul, R.A.P. The documents show that Mr. Johnson contacted Dr. Schulenberg again on April 18, and expressed concern that Prince was struggling with opioids. At that time, Dr. Schulenberg told investigators, Mr. Johnson apologized for asking the doctor to prescribe the previous painkiller. An assistant to Prince told investigators that he had been unusually quiet and sick with the flu in the days before he was found dead. Myrn Bakor said she last saw Prince a day earlier, when she was going to take him to the doctor for a checkup, but that Prince told her he would go with Mr. Johnson instead. On that day, Dr. Schulenberg saw Prince and ran some tests and prescribed other medications to help him. The urinalysis came back positive for opioids. That same day, Paisley Park staffers contacted California addiction specialist Dr. Howard Kornfeld. The doctor sent his son, Andrew, to Minnesota that night, and the younger Kornfeld was among those who found Prince's body. Andrew Kornfeld was carrying buprenorphine, a medication that can be used to help treat opioid addiction. Prince performs during the halftime show at the Super Bowl 41 football game in Miami in 2007. AP Andrew Kornfeld told investigators that Prince was still warm to the touch when he was found, but that rigor mortis had begun to set in. The documents also show that Prince's closest confidants knew he was a private person and tried to respect that. "That's what pisses me off, cause it's like, man, how did he hide this so well?" Johnson said. Mr. Metz said some of Prince's friends might have enabled him as they tried to protect him. "There is no doubt that the actions of individuals will be criticized, questioned and judged in the days and weeks to come," Mr. Metz said. But suspicions and innuendo are categorically insufficient to support any criminal charges. The U.S. Attorney's Office also said yesterday it had no credible evidence that would lead to federal criminal charges. A law enforcement official close to the investigation told the Associated Press that the federal investigation is now inactive unless new information emerges. The official spoke on condition of anonymity because the federal case remains open. Copyright 9 Digital Tie Limited 2018.